Hey Sagar, hi. So, do you have any doubts from yesterday's class? So, it's like I'll be coming from next week onwards. I'll be coming online at 4:15 so that if there is any doubts from the previous video, I'll be able to solve it from 4:15 to 4:30 so that I can start the live sessions from 4:30. So, if you have any doubts, then please do type in as a comment so that I can help you guys to figure out how to solve the thing. And regarding the notes and all the other slides or any other things, I'll make sure to upload them from Monday onwards. It's just that there'll be no class tomorrow, but I will be explaining about the timeline soon, just in 3 minutes, of what's going to happen on Saturday and Sunday and what we are going to do. It's just that yesterday I said I'll be coming live today, and I had no idea that it was Saturday, so I couldn't figure out. But still, we'll go on with the course, and let's see if we get to do live tomorrow. Then we'll also develop one website tomorrow, because yesterday we completed 4 topics. Can you hear me now? Actually, I'm speaking low. Okay, give me a moment. I'll turn off my AC so that it will be clear for me as well. Yes, can you hear me now? If you can hear me, then we can start with the class properly. And I hope there is no disturbance as well. If the disturbance is less, then that will be great for me. So yes, so from 4:30 on, I'll make sure to explain. I'll start with the topics that I'll be covering today, and also the timesheet, or like the Gantt chart that we prepare while we work in an office culture, the timeline sheet. So I'll explain what we are going to do every weekdays and weekends, and how this live session will work out. Just let's wait for 2 more minutes so that we get more viewers. If not, then we'll continue with today's session from 4:30 itself. Let's start the live. So hello everyone, thank you for joining today's live session, and also thanks for the people who are watching it later. So in today's class, before starting today's class, let's go on and discuss, get ourselves familiar with the tags that we have practiced yesterday. So yesterday we got to know about these things: what a heading tag is, what a paragraph tag is, what a div tag is, and what a span tag is. Along with these tags, we also got to discover few more styling things, right? Such as how to add a background color, normal font color, and also how to change the type of font. If you want to add a radius or like a rounded corners for the box, how do we do that? How do we drop the shadow? How do we increase the space inside the box, and how do we increase the space outside the box? Along with that, we even saw how to display the text at the center, on or the right side, on the left side. And we know that left side is a basic thing. By default it will be displaying on the left, but if we want it at the center and on the right, we used a text align. And yes, these are the basic things that we saw yesterday. It's just that once you get to know these tags and these properties at the first class itself, it will be easy for you to implement these properties, because the properties which we learn here in the HTML while implementing HTML are the very basic properties. In future, when we go into CSS in detail, we get to do some animations or like do any type of effects. If we want such effects and animations, then that will be a tough concept compared to what we are doing at the moment. So we need to get familiar with all the basic concepts first. Then only if we get to familiar with these concepts, then we'll go with the CSS, advanced CSS I mean. The next thing is, every day on, let's try to focus like this. We'll concentrate and focus mainly on four concepts I mean, because there are like 25 concepts, and in the 25 concepts itself, three concepts are nothing but the website itself. Let me go and show you the folder content. Here you can see that from 1 to 4 we did yesterday, from 5 to 8 we will do today, 8 or 9, a little bit of 9. From 9 to 12 we will do in the next class. And you see there is no file between 12 and 14, because the 13th file is nothing but the website. So we are going to develop a website on the next class itself. So if the class is like 1.5 hour duration, then what we do is, in the first 1 hour we'll discuss from 8 to 12 concepts, and from first concept to 12 concept we'll try to implement all these things into the 13th concept, that is nothing but the website. And then same goes on with all the things, right? See, the 18th one is this and 26th one is the other website. So the concepts are arranged in such a way that once we get to discover all the basic concepts, we'll try to implement them and create a website. So first website will be on the next class itself. So as promised, on day 3 of HTML, you get to create the website using the basic HTML concepts that we learned. So as promised, if we finish the 4 concepts till yesterday, and we'll be concentrating on text formatting. So we'll go with the HTML tags, the 5th concept, which is nothing but text formatting. So whenever we took a website into example, so yesterday we saw, what is that, Wikipedia. Yes, when we saw the Wikipedia yesterday, we saw that few text were italic, they were slanted, few were normal, few were bold, few were having underline, and so on, right? All these things are nothing but text formatting, the different ways to represent the text. So it's just like what we see in the Microsoft Word. We find it over here, right? So what we did, so there will be a concept which will bold it, which will italic it, which will also underline it. We also get to discover what a strike is. So we get to discover all these things today. So how do we try to do these things? And if you want this text to be on the left side, okay, on the center we know it is a text align, on the right side it is nothing but text align right, center or left, whatever it is. So we learn the concept of moving the text from left to right or placing it at the center. Now we will see how we can do the bold, how we can do the italic, how can we strike it off, how can we do the underline, so that once we cover all the topics related to text, then we'll go with the media tags such as images, how to display the videos or audios, how to do all these things. Those will be the next interesting topics. So among that we'll look at the images today. So let's go on. So let's keep this as it is. Let's try to represent or recreate this same thing onto the screen. So first thing, how can we do this on the web page? Or seriously, right? We need to know how we can represent or just copy this layout and put it onto the website, rather than using a snippet tool, cropping this image and pasting this image onto the website. There is a technique to do this, or to do all these operations onto the website. So what I said was, try the lorem 40 and try to implement each word. And before starting it, we need to look at the live server. So last class, the class which we had discussed yesterday, I mentioned something about live server. Whenever we saw in the last class that whenever I try to write a piece of code, let me show you practically. See, for example, if I open this in the browser and let's put this side by side, let me try to write jobless developer. Let me save the file over here, and when we open this browser, we don't see anything until and unless we refresh the page, right? And what if you are so lazy to refresh the page again and again? I want my output to be displayed as soon as I save the file. It will be an easy task for us, right? We don't need to go do the refresh thing again and again. So in order for that to work, we have installed live server in our second class, where we did all the installation part, and how to do that and all these things have been mentioned in the slides. So it's the same as it is. To start the live server, we need to start it using a command, and WebStorm is having its own command prompt, and that is nothing but, if you click on the place over here, the small box on the bottom left, there is something called terminal. Click on the terminal and you see the WebStorm is having its own command prompt. So how can you check if the live server has been installed properly or not? So in order to check it, live-server space -v is the command. So live-server space -v is the command. The moment I type this, and if I get a live server version over here, it means that my live server is successfully installed. Now that it is successfully installed, let us try to run this. How do you run it? You can run it using this command, live-server space --port equals to 9000. So live-server space --port equals to 9000, and you can see that my default browser is not the Google Chrome, so it's opening in Internet Explorer. What you can do is, let's copy this URL path, copy it, let me close that one, let me open this, let me paste it, enter, and you can see my whole folder structure is displayed over here. All these things are displayed over here. And 127.0.0.1, you need to understand these things, right? Because I'm a stranger, I'm telling you to install these things, but you need to know what these things work. If not, then how can you believe me? Obviously. So this is nothing but 127.0.0.1. it's the local server that you create on your computer. So you're saying that I want my live server to start in the port number which is 9000. So that's the reason in the local host server it is starting with the port of 9000. So that's why you get at the end colon 9000. So this is starting in the root directory. Root directory is nothing but the whole HTML completed files folder. This is being loaded onto the browser. Now we are working on a file called 05_HTML_text formatting. So let's search for that 05_ and try to open it in the new tab. So the reason I'm saying to open it in the new tab is because if I open in the same tab, if I click on the same tab, after doing all the operations, I need to go back again. So why do you want to go back when you can directly open it in the new tab and close it after getting the proper output? It's easy, right, to go back to the root page. So I always try to open it in the new tab. So if you want to open a new tab, then there are few techniques. If you are using a mouse, then click on the scroll button, it will open a new tab, or else right click, open a new tab, or else click on a control button and click on that link, it will open a new tab. So you got to know 3 different ways to open a link in the new tab, right? That's amazing thing to know. Okay, let's go on with the concepts of programming over here. Let's minimize this, let me increase it. Then now that we got to know about live server, let's go with the next topic. It's saying that yes, if you want to represent a word or a sentence or a character in bold, then there are two tags that can be implemented to represent the word as bold. So you can either do it with a B tag or you can either do it with a strong tag. So let's try to implement the first one, which is nothing but bold. So what we do is we try to do the commenting part. Bold, comma, strong. These two things are the same. So in order to display a text or a character of text or array of text or sequence of text, what we learned is p tag, right? Amazing, p tag. So we do the paragraph tag and we say lorem 10 for say and do tab, save this one. As soon as you save it, I will go to the file over here, the output. You see the output has come. I didn't click on the refresh button at all. So that's the advantage of live server. It's easy for us. So now my first task number 1 is to make this as bold. Let's do that. Easy, right? What you can do in order to make this word as a bold, what you do is just put a B tag before it and a closing B tag after it. Just saying that, see, whatever the paragraph it is, I want this word to be bold. So I am like putting it in between two bold tags so that I am saying that this word alone is bold. So let's save it. Let's save it, open the browser, and you can see the lorem is at itself is bold. Let's try to control D so that let's duplicate it. Click on this one and type strong. See, double click on the word, and if you write jobless, even the closing tag is becoming the same tag. You don't need to write it 2 times, right? It's easy for us. So we did a bold tag, we are using a strong tag. Let's save it, refresh. You don't need to refresh as well, see. So it's like even if you use a bold or a strong, you still get a bold tag that will be executed over there. So let's go with the next tag. It's saying italic, and if you want to display the italic onto the screen, you have two options. It is either I tag or EM tag. So how do you do that? So let's go, what we do is let's try to print it properly, right? Let's go with h1 tag and say that bold, oops, bold or strong. Another h1 tab will say italic or enumerated em. So we did a lorem 10, right? Lorem 10 tab, another p tag with the lorem 10. Make sure there is no gap between the lorem and 10. If there is a gap between lorem and 10, if you press a tab, nothing happens. But if there is no gap, then magic happens. Right. So now we got this one. What we want is we just save this, go to the browser and see we got this italic em, but there is no styles. I want just the lorem word or this word to be italic. So what I do is I put a I tag and I close the I tag. I put the em tag, you see, just the word alone is having italic in. Now the next one is, let's go with the underline. It is either U or inserted. So let's try to, it's better if I do the control D for the whole thing. So let's go with this one as a Control D, so we get a new line as well. So what it is, underline, the next one is underline or insert. So just need to replace I with U, insert with ins, that's right, ins, save it. My volume is low. Oh my god, okay, give me a moment. It's just because I'm speaking really in a low pace. The volume is high over here. Let's hope I'll try to speak louder. I'll make sure I try to speak louder so that it's not a problem anymore. So if I do this, you can see that the same word is being underlined, but over here I'm using a U tag, and over here I'm using a ins, insert tag. So the next one we'll see is a strikeout. See, when we saw this jobless developer, there is a strike option over here. If you want to strike it out, then there are two tags for that. So that's del, which is a delete, or s for a strike. So let's go to the input and say delete or strike. So replace I with del or yes tag. Let's save it and let's refresh the page. Oh, you don't need to refresh, sorry, because we are using a live server for sure. Okay, let me reduce the font. Okay, let's see, you can see a strikeout over here. Or if you want a highlight, whenever you take a book and you like a point, what you do, you highlight it so that you don't have to search for that. You just need to search for the highlight. So there is a keyword called as mark. So what we do is we copy this and we paste it here. Let's go with a tag called mark. Save it, and where is it? You see there is a highlight over there. So it means that we are marking this, we are giving a mark effect. And next to things comes the superscript and subscript. It's like the chemical reactions. If it's H2O, then if you want to print out H2O downwards, well, let's see, let me show you the H1 tab. You say subscript and a P tag. You say H2O, and that isn't a H2O until and unless you add a subscript. So for 2 I want it to be a subscript, so just before 2, oops, it's already being completing for me, H2O. If I see it over here, you can see now it's properly being displayed over there. It's because it's a subscript. What it will do is it will move that character or that word or that paragraph a little bit lower compared to the other font or other paragraph text that's over there. So I guess, wait a minute, I guess you cannot see. You can see it right now. I guess it's because of the logo. Let me increase the margin to 200. You can scroll more. The only reason is that because, you know, how much ever page you develop, that's the only thing that is going to be displayed onto the website. If I don't give a margin, see, margin is like the box, right? What I did over here, I'll explain it to you so that if at all this is a problem for you in future, you can either know what happening over there. It's just I thought about this on the go. So what it is that this is the screen, and you are developing a website of this height. Whatever you do, you start it on the top, you end it on the bottom of the screen for sure, right? But what if you want a space between the things that you have developed? You assume that the document which you developed is in the shape of a box, and what is the spacing outside the box called as margin, right? But where is your margin? Which one you want a space? You want a space on the left side, on the right side, on the top side, or the bottom side? I said give me a space of 100 pixels margin bottom. I'm saying that give me a bottom space, so that what will happen is my web page will be displayed as it is this much, but because of the CSS my page will be from here to here itself. The remaining thing, whatever is there over bottom, will be the gap. It's because of the margin that we did. So don't worry about this concept. Once you get to know the CSS, we get to do some things like this so that it will be easy for us. I just don't want to look at the bottom side of the page all the time. So what I do is I put the margin over here on the bottom, so it will go page a bit up. It's because of the logo over there. I'm just looking at the live. It's because of the logo I had to do this. So it's not necessary for you to put the margin bottom. It's just for my sake. So now you got to know about the subscript. Let's do the superscript. Control D for duplicating that one. So sub, replace that with okay, I want to print out a plus b whole square, right? Let's save it and let's see. It's not displaying as a square properly, right? So what if I want to so what I do is sup, okay, now you see, this is what is the advantage of superscript and subscript. It will move the character or the word a bit higher or a bit lower compared to the text or whatever characters are there in that paragraph. So you can actually move up and down a bit. It's easy, right? So now that you got to know about these things, there is something called quotations. Quotations is nothing but if there is okay, let's try something like this. If there is a block quote, so let's go with our style. Block quote. See the output. Compared to this lorem and this lorem, apart from the text size, you see what's the difference. This one is aligned, it's starting from this place, whereas the text of all the things above is starting from the starting line on the left side, but it's starting on the center. It's also giving a gap over here. But if you don't use the block quote is like a quotation, so it stays at the center itself. So if you want this to be properly be displayed onto the screen, what you can do is you can do something like this. You can write a div tag, you can write a div tag and place this block quote inside the div tag, and you can go up. Let's save it and let's refresh. I gave some proper styles. See, the reason why you're having over there is that even then I gave a division, I put it inside a division. I gave few styles, predefined styles, saying that I want the background color to be light gray. I want the width to be width of the division box. See, if I don't give the width, control, see, now you see how the box looks like this. If I remove this and save it, there is no width, it occupies the whole screen. If you want to reduce that one, then there is a property called width. Nice. Now you even got to know what a width is. It's easy, right? So now that you know what a width is, the next thing you need to know what a padding is. You got to know what padding is yesterday. We tried to discover all these things. So I gave a small, a gap, even though you are located at the center. If the text is at the center, we did the text align as well to the center. Only for the div tag, as my block quote is inside a div tag, all the properties are applied over there as well. That's the reason the text is center. If there is no text align center, then see what will happen. The text is not at the center, it's aligned at the left side itself as normally, but I don't want it to be displayed like that. So what I do is I put it as text align center, and now I refresh it. You don't need to refresh it because of the live server. You get this one. That's amazing, right? So now that you got to know about all these concepts, let's try to do the same concept that we did here, the jobless developer. It's like a small thing, but still, let's try to recreate that one. Let's give a background color as well. So I'll go with the div tag. I'll go with the p tag, saying that what's my output? It's a jobless developer. So I will write it. So I'll write as jobless developer. Let me look at my output. I got a jobless developer. Next thing is jobless should be bold. So jobless should be bold. Let me close it, save it and open it. Jobless is bold. Yes, one thing is done. The developer should be italic because it's slanted. So we go with the italic tag. You got an italic tag. Now I want a strike for the developer as well because it's striked, right? So along with I go with a yes tag, saying I want to strike it out. See, the reason why I'm doing this exercise is that you get to know what to do. See, I got a strike as well. Now the last thing which I need to do is an underline over there for both of the words. So with this you'll understand where to open the tag, where to close the tag. That will be a easy way for you to understand. So this is the one which I wanted to recreate, and we got the same thing. That's easy, right? So we get to do that, but along with this one, if you don't want any styles, if you just want it like that, see, you just got it as it was in the word. So anything would do good. If you want to add a good style, then go with a division tag, give a proper background color, give a foreground color as in the font color. It's up to you, whatever you want to do, but it's easy to recreate. This is what I wanted to say with the example, but let's go and look at this in detail, what I did over here. First step, what I did over here was I want jobless to be bold. So I put the jobless in between the bold tag. The next thing what I did was I want a strike for the developer, right? So let's give the strike by giving s tag. Along with the strike, what I wanted was I want the developer to be italic. So I enclosed the whole strike thing inside the italic tag. So now you get italic and strike just for the developer itself. Now for this whole thing, this strike, this italic and this bold, for all these three things together, I need a common thing called underline. So for this whole thing, I made them in between the U tag. See, if I open a U tag first and a B tag next, I need to make sure I close this B tag first. Then I can close the U tag. If I try to open, see, what I'm trying to say is if I create a div tag, if I create a div tag, if I open a p tag first, I need to make sure I close the p tag, right? So or else if I go with a u tag and without closing a u tag, if I do something like, wait, let's do this. What if I try to close the b tag later on and write a jobless? Will it still work? You get it. But you see over here, you get an error over here because it's saying that it should be closed in such a way that if you open a tag, you need to make sure the tag you're opening next should close first. If not, there will be a problem. You still get the output, but the reason is you need to make sure whenever you open a tag, if you don't close the tag in a proper correct way, then it will create a big mess for you. So now or later on, it might create a mess for you until and unless you close the tag properly. See, now you don't have any errors. So if you open a b tag after a u tag, make sure you close the b tag. It's not just with the b tag and u tag. I'm just giving you an example that if you are opening one tag after the another, make sure you close the one which you open next. See, I opened a div tag first and a p tag next, but I made sure I closed the p tag first, and then at the end I'll open the topmost tag. This is the same thing that is being followed by all the things, all the tags, because these things are the basic syntax. If you don't close them properly, you might get output. In some cases you will not even get a proper output. It might crash your application, and we don't want your application to get crashed. So with these things being done, I would like to ask if you guys have any queries. So if you actually have any queries, then please do let me know so that I can solve at this moment itself, and then we can jump on to the next part. So these are the basic things that we cover. Hello everyone, thanks for joining. I hope my mic audio is properly audible. If it's properly audible, that would be a great thing, because I just don't want there to be any disturbances when I speak out loud. Okay, with that being said, I guess there are no more doubts, so I'll move on to the next topic for today. Okay, it's saying that it's like a practical thing. So it's saying let's create a lorem 50 and apply all the styles to it. Let's do this as a homework. You guys try to implement this one, because this is a good way for you to do a proper thing. Now that you know what each tag does have its priority, now you know about all the tags, you can try to implement them. The next thing is called as list tags. So list is divided into two types. So whenever you try to list, let's go and take a word itself. See, if you're trying to display a list, there are two types of list over here. The one which is having the circle, the hollow one, the normal one, or the square, whatever these things are, you don't have a proper thing. See, if I different types of fruits, say apple, orange, banana. So whatever I do, this list which is over here is square in shape. And if I want a circle for, say, I select this, I'll say apple, orange. See, what's happening over here is that the list is not having a sequence. You get to know what different items are, but you don't have a proper order for that. That's the reason this type of list is called ordered list. So the thing is, there are three ways. The ordered list is something which you have a sequence. The unordered list is not having a sequence. Even this is considered, even this thing which I am displaying right now is also considered as unordered list. The reason being said is that this is a type of style. See, here you're not having 1 2 3, no sequence. Even here you're not having 1 2 3, it's not placed in a sequence, but still you can assume this as a list. Yes, so these things are called as unordered list, and in order to display the unordered list you need a tag. So ul is a tag that we use for unordered list. Now that this topic is done, let's close this one and let's search for unordered list, which is a file number 6. Open it in the new tab. It is empty as usual. Let's close this file and let's open the unordered list. Yes, as discussed earlier, there are 4 types of unordered list. One is the disk, second is circle, one with see, this one, the one without any effect, just a circle. The next is square, and the fourth one is not having anything at all before it, that's called none. So let's try to display it onto the screen. So before doing that, we need to also know few things. Let's open this one. So you need to know these things. Now that you know what an unordered list is, the things that you need to display it onto the screen, the one which are displaying onto the screen, is called as list item. That's the reason you say li. So how do you do that? Let's open a notepad and see about that. So if you want to display a list onto the screen, if it is an unordered list, you say ul, and you need to obviously close the ul, and there are list items. So my first list item is apple. I need to close the list item. The second list item is banana for say. Third is for orange. So you're saying that I want these things as the unordered list, but I want these unordered list to have items such as apple, banana, orange. If you don't mention the items, then unordered list is of no use, right? If you don't have anything as a list items, then what you're going to represent it onto the screen, and depending upon what you want, it's like attribute. If I want type equals to, if I want it as a square, I'll type it as square. If I want it as a circle, instead of square, I will type it circle. And if I don't want anything, I'll mention it as none. So these are the basic things that you need to know. So now that you got to know the syntax, that's called how to represent onto the website, that's called as syntax. Now let's try to do this over here. It's unordered list, right? So ul it is ul, and let's click on tab. Now that you have unordered list, the things what we need to do is, first thing I need to zoom on. Let's go over here. So I want my first list item to be apple. I want my second list item to be banana. I want my third list item to be orange. Let me save this and let me open the browser, and you see by default it is having this shape because you haven't mentioned anything. It's a default shape, but it's saying that it's having a disk, circle, square, and none. So what we'll do is okay, let's control D. That's a default one. So okay, don't worry about these things, but yes, let me save this and let me open it. I got all the 4 types, 1 2 3 4. Along with that, I'll also create one more, 5 types. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. Let's go and find the difference. First thing, what if I don't have anything? it's displayed with one different type of logo. We say type equals to, and if you don't know if it is a disk or a circle or square, then what you need to do is you need to know, right, how to get help from the from the WebStorm itself. Then press Control and space. Oh my god, it's saying no suggestion. That's right, that's weird. Okay, let's go with disk, or let's go with square. And see over here, you don't need to refresh. You can see the difference. Square when type equals to circle, save it and you get a circle, space type equals to disk, and this is called as a disk by default. So you got to know that by default it's a disk. Type equals to none, and you see there is no such thing as before itself. So it still is considered as a list, but this is an unordered list. So it's just black and white. I want something interesting over here. So what I do is, let's start applying styles. The unordered list means the whole part is an unordered list. I want the background color to be some random color. So I want the background color to be, for example, let's go with some dark color. It's hard for me to select the colors, I'm sorry. Oh my god, so scary, right? I want the colors for apple, banana, orange are nothing but the LIs, right? So what I do is, for LI I say I want the background color to be, so I'm ruining it. Let me see, control space will work for sure, but I don't know for what reason that wasn't working. Let's see. Oh, okay, you got something over here. The next thing what I wanted is, I want to change the color of apple, banana, orange. So what we do is, it's nothing but color. Okay, now that I got to know about these things, let's give a box shadow. Okay, let me give a padding. Oh, it looks dangerous. Let me remove this thing. Okay. I don't want margin. Let's remove the margin. Okay, see, it's somewhat good than rather displaying a normal thing, right? So I want the width of this box to be 400 pixels for say. Okay, let's try to reduce a bit more. 200. Yes, that's nice, right? Rather than displaying a basic black and white thing onto the screen, now that we got to know styles, we'll try to implement the styles from the first video itself. It's easy and good to learn in this way. Yes, so that now that we got to know what a unordered list is, how to display the elements onto the screen, and how to add the styles for that, there is one such thing I need to explain. See, for example, if I want to create an unordered list, with, for say, I'm having 10 list items. I just can't write li, right? I just can't do this. Control D. Rather than doing this, what I can do is li into 10. Type this thing, press tab, and there you go. 10 list items directly onto the screen. Easy, right? Easy functionality, easy to implement. Make sure you guys know all these things, because when you're doing development, make sure you do the smart work, not the hard work. Make sure you get to know all these things, because it will be easy for you one day. You don't have to do all these things, right? This being said, do you guys have any queries so far, apart from playing CID or COD, you mean? So yes, apart from that, if you guys have any queries, then please do let me know. I wish and hope my voice is audible, and if you have any queries, please do let me know right now, so that, because the next topic is nothing but ordered list. The only tag difference is that rather than using UL, we will use OL, because it's ordered list. So assuming that you guys are not having any doubts for now, let's go on to the next topic. It's ordered list. Let's open the file. Let's close this one on ordered list, and let's open the ordered list. It's empty. Nice. Let's close this file as well. Let's open the ordered list, file number 7. Yes. So ordered list. How to display the ordered list? Ordered list is like the example over here. You either get in alphabets ABC uppercase, or ABC lowercase, or 1 to 3, or the Roman way of representing the alphabets, Roman numbering. All those things are the types. So in order to display the ordered list, OL, and if you want to display something, li into 3 for say, not enter, a tab, I will say apple, orange. So the by default one over here is 1 to 3. So now we know that by default thing is the numerical thing. Now let's try to implement the same thing. 1 2 3 4 5. So I'll go with 6 times. 1 2 3 4 5, and let me press enter. Oh my god. Yes, 5 times. 1 2 3 4 5 6. This will be the default one. So first thing is with 1, let's leave that, let's put that later on. Type equals to, and I didn't write anything over here. You can see that those things came by its own. So that's called automatic help feature. Type equals to uppercase A space type equals to lowercase a space type equals to I space type equals to small I space type equals to 1. Let's save it. Let's open it over here and let's understand what's happening over there. So the first type is nothing but the default one. By default it's 1 2 3. If I say type equals to A in uppercase, so you get uppercase ABC as the order. If you type lowercase a, you get lowercase ABC as the order. If you type I, uppercase I, it means it's in the Roman numericals. If it is lowercase I, it's lowercase Roman numericals. And if it is 1 or the default one, it is nothing but it is displaying with the help of normal numbers itself. So now that you know how to do this, if you want to add styles, which I say you do, let's get it done with. Okay, I want a box set of 0 0 10 pixels black. Nice. I want all the LIs to have a background color of lime green and text. No, sure, it's the same color, right? Lime. Okay. You got a box shadow. You can go with a border radius if you want to practice these things. You get a circle kind of stuff, and then see 20 pixels, 20 pixels. Okay. Okay, I'll explain about these things later on. Let's leave it as it is. So this is what I'll go with the padding 10 pixels so that I get a space, good space, and that's it. Now that you know how to implement these styles, it's up to you what color you want to choose. I just went with this color. I'm so bad with colors, but still go with the colors that are good with the UI, or like the blue and white combination for Facebook, or some maroon color and white for Instagram, such as like that. Depending upon which company website you're going to develop, it's up to you to choose which color combination suits better. Normally white and gray goes good or something like that, but let's go with the next topic. With this being said, do you guys have any queries so far? Because now that we have covered text formatting, unordered list, ordered list, we will go with the other two concepts that we are left behind, and once we get to cover those concepts, it will be easy for us in the next class to cover the remaining concepts, because these things are the basics. From next class on, you guys need to go with that one. So the task for today, what I'm saying is that there is another tag, DL and DT. Go and search for that one once, because it's the same thing. If you are covering the list concept, if you get to know about the list, DL, DT tags, once you try to look about these tags, and it will be helpful for you as well. It's just like a homework. Do a small website based on what we are being taught today. The next thing is, so far we just got to display the text onto the screen. We just display text. How boring it is. I want to display the image onto the screen as well. So the 8th tag is the image tag. Let's open the 8th one, HTML images, which is empty over here. That's nice. Let's close this one. Let's open the HTML images, and there is something written over here. The simple images, width, height, ALT attribute, image with border using CSS, Google Images. So these things are the one that we try to do it now, so that you get to cover all the concepts that are related to images for today itself. So once you get to cover these things, what we do is we will halt for today's class, and tomorrow we'll start with the tables, because yesterday we did from 1 to 4, today 5 to 8. Tomorrow we'll go with 9 to 12, tomorrow or day after, depending. If I'll be coming live tomorrow, then I might not be coming live tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, when I come live, we will go from topic number 9 to topic number 12, and once we get to cover that, we'll also try to display a website onto the screen. We'll try to develop a website, but for now let's look at the image tag. So image tag, as the name suggests, let me open the notepad. Image tag, as the name suggests, it is displayed using a tag name called img. So img stands for image tag, and all the things beside the img tag, which is over here, such as src, alt, width, height, are called as attributes of this image tag, because src is nothing but the source saying that where my image is, where I can find the image from, where it is located at. That location you need to mention in the src, saying that src equals to, and type the location, what do you say, location, try to put the location address over there. You say that my image is here, just get the image from there. alt is also known as alternative text. So what alternative text is that, sometimes if your internet is slow, what happens is that the image will not load faster, by which sometimes when you open the website you get to see the image is not being loaded, but there will be some text written over there saying that if my image is not loading over there, I'll at least try to let users know that what this image is about. So I'll say if it is a laptop image, I'll say alt equals to laptop image, just so that if the space over there is empty, if there is no image, obviously there will be an empty space over there along with a small logo saying that your image has not been loaded. Beneath that, we need to make sure users know that that's not an important logo or information that they are missing out. So these are the basic things that we need to do while we do the development part. The next thing is the width and height. As the name suggests, width and height is nothing but it says width of the image and height of the image. What's the width of the image? What's the height of the image? If you don't provide this one, then what you can do is you can use the CSS, right? You don't need to write all the things over here itself. See, normally this is how you write this one. img space, I'm saying src, this image is located over there, and if that image is not loaded, I want the alternative text to be something over here. And if the image is too big, if I want like every image on the website, I want it to be 400 pixels as width and 200 pixels as height. If that's the standard dimensions that I am seeking for, then what I can do is I can copy the same thing. I can use the CSS and I can provide it normally, right? It's easy to do the such way, but this is the basic syntax for HTML alone. If you're not using CSS, then you can do it with just HTML alone. What we do is we try to implement CSS as well. That's easy, right? That's good to know as well. So there is an image folder. So what we do is, it's a lot to learn in this one. Let me close this, don't save. Just give me a moment, I'll just be back. Hey guys, I'm sorry, I just went back. I'm back again. So yes, the one thing that you need to know is that there is no close tag for the image tag. If I write img and press tab, you see you get src and alt, but there is no /img. It's being said there is no close tab for img. Just remember this, that's a reason. So when I was giving example for open tag and close tag, I didn't give the example of image because image tag is not having a close tag. The open and close tag are only provided for those tags if you can write something in between them, because for image you cannot write anything. If you want to write, you just have an attribute called alt. So what I do is, let me for this, okay, this is going to be like a 30 minutes concept where I am explaining everything related to image in detail, so bear yourself. I hope you guys are ready for this. So what I do is, I'll go desktop, I'll create a new folder, img underscore tag, image tag, and I'll go to WebStorm, file, open. And how do I open over here is that rather than selecting things over here, what I can do is, double click over here, copy this location, file, open, paste the location over there. Okay, this window. So in image tag I want to create a new file, new HTML file, sample underscore image dot html. This is the file name that I provided, so that it's saying that it's a sample file for the displaying images. So your title, I mean that file name should be properly readable and understandable, so that if you want to delete that file in future, you need to know which file you're deleting, or if not, then you need to open the file again and again, which I don't do that, but still, yes. So if I want to display the main things, these are the things that you need to understand. If I want to display an image onto the screen, what I do, in the body tag I go with img, and it's saying that src equals to where is the image located at. For example, my image is in desktop, full stack development. Okay, let's go back. This PC D live HTML completed files. There is some image folder over here, image folder, and there is something called image1.jpg. Let's copy the location. The first example is, what if my image is somewhere in the computer, it's not in the folder structure itself. Then what I do, I copy the whole thing and say in this folder, I'll minimize this one, there is something called as image1.jpg. What I do is image, so it should not be in this way. The hyphen should be over here like this. So not the hyphen, the slash. Okay, let's save this. It's not opening over there. Let's go with this one itself, this way, if that's the case, because few things such as few IDEs vary from time to time. Okay, it's not this page that we are going to display it. Oh, that's a problem over there. It's because of the naming conventions. There is a space in one of the file folder names. So what I do is, I will copy this file image over here, and in the desktop itself, in the sample, not in the sample, there is a image tag, I'll paste it over here. So here you can see that in this folder called img tag, there are two things. My image is located in img tag folder itself, and in the same folder my file is also there, my HTML file is also there. So what I do is I say img and src is nothing but image1. See, now you can see directly, right? If it's in the same folder, then what you do is you can directly access the file which is beside it itself. Save it, open it, and you get the image over here. You get the whole image over here. But what if I created a new folder called as img and I put all my images in that folder? If I write this as image1.jpg and if I refresh it over here, something is happening. See, yes, you see nothing is being displayed because the path which you provided over here is saying that the file and the image is in the same folder, but actually it's not in the same folder, it's in img folder. The image is in img folder. So you need to modify your code a bit. You need to say that in my img folder slash there is something called image1.jpg. Please do open that one. Save this and refresh it. Now you can see the photo has come again. Now the third scenario is, what if my file, this HTML file, is in another folder and image is in another folder? For example, I'll create a new folder saying that source code. Okay, normally we will write it as src. Let's start that naming convention itself. In src, what we do is we put all our HTML files. So normally if it is like this, and if I open my WebStorm, oh, that's gone. In src I need to open this one. So let's open the same file, and you can see that the file is empty because it's saying that the file is in src folder, and you are providing the path from the src folder. You are saying that there is something called img folder in this src folder, and inside that img folder there is image1. But in reality that img folder is outside the src folder. So what it should do is, if it wants to display the image onto the screen, this file should go back to this home file and then go to the image file and get the image1 image. So for that there is something called, in order to jump back to the location, there is something called // Now if you save it and if you open this one, you can see the image has come. So things what you are learning so far is, if it's in the same folder, the image and file is in the same folder, you can write as it is. You don't need to do this one. Then it will display it onto the screen. If the image is in another folder, then you need to write like this. If the image is in another folder but it's in the previous directory or previous folder structure, then if you want to jump back to that folder, then you need to press // It means I need to go back. See what's happening over here. I'll explain the same steps over here. So this file is this file. Where it is located, this file is located in src folder, but my image is in image folder. Where is image folder? I should go back one step. So first thing, I'll go back one step. The second thing, I need to go inside a folder called img. So it will go inside a folder called img. In that, it's saying that there is something called image1.jpg. If the name is image1.jpg, it will display that one. So these are the steps that are being done in just one line. It's going back, it's going to a new folder, and then it's getting the image and displaying onto the screen. So now that you understand what image tag is and what src is, the next thing we need to look at is the absolute path and a relative path. What absolute path is and what relative path is? The one which I did recently, like if it's like in a C folder in users admin, there is something called abc.jpg. It means that that photo, that image, whatever you're trying to put the location, that is in your computer. But what if you want to create a website for a client? Your client will not run the website from your computer, because they will run the website on their servers on the back end of their company. They're not going to run from your laptops, right? That's the reason you shouldn't provide the absolute path. There is a second technique called as a relative path, in which what we do is we create separate folder itself in the file. Normally, whenever we try to create a project, for example, let's create a new folder and say food underscore website. We are creating a food website. So what we need to do is, first thing, create folders. Say that my first folder should have all the CSS files. The second folder should have all the images files. The third folder should have all the JavaScript files, and remaining all HTML files I need to be in SRC folder. See, if I divide my project into these parts, I can put all the images in this images folder, or I can put all the CSS in this CSS folder. So whenever I do the programming part, so my file will be inside the SRC folder, right? If I want to access the image from this website, for this website, what I do is I just jump back to the previous location. I'll go to the IMG folder. I will get that image. Rather than getting that image from my laptop, they can get image from their server itself. This is what the relative path is. And relative path, in there you will not mention something like C, users, admin, or these kind of things. You don't do that one. You say that from the current position of your file, jump back to the previous folder, go to the IMG folder and get the image from there. That's a best way, and that's the only way that you need to do while you're doing a website development. So now that you know what a absolute path is or what a relative path is, how to get the image from different folders, or if it's in the same folder, or the two codes are in different parts, how to do that, you got to know all these things, right? If you have any doubts, then please don't hesitate to ask me at any moment, and whenever this slide comes up, I will look into the comments part, and then I'll able to solve your problems. If you have anything, then please type the problems. I will help to solve those things once I come back to this slide all the time. Assuming that you guys not are having any problems, we'll jump back to the next thing, the practical stuff. Once we get to do this practical stuff, what we do is we'll stop the topics for today, and from the next class we will go with the tables concept and so on. So the first thing is, let's open up that previous folder structure. For that we need file, open, and that's in the D drive, right? So in the D drive there is something called full stack development live. In the HTML completed files, okay, this window. Nice. The first thing we need to do is open up the terminal, live dash server dash port equals so the first thing we need is live server. I cannot go and refresh it all the time, so let's refresh this page. It's empty. Nice. Because the port number is 9000 and always it will be the same thing for me, I can just do this. Now my image is empty. The first thing what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to display a simple image, and we know that our image is in IMG folder, so we need to jump from my file is over here. So I need to go to IMG folder, and in IMG folder there is called IMG1. So I'll say in the IMG folder there is something called, see, and press control and space, you'll get all the things, all the images over there. I'll say I want this one. Let me save this file, let me go over here, and you see you get the whole thing displayed over there. The second thing is to add width and height. So let's do that, the same thing, IMG, and in the image tag there is something called as image 6. I want the width to be 400 pixels and height to be 400 pixels. Go down. Oh, okay. Let's go width as 600 pixels. It's good, but still you can see, right, if I don't provide these two things, it's as big as the previous one. Now that I'm providing the width and height, there will be a restriction of the width and height provided to just this image alone, because I'm providing the attributes for just this image. I'm not providing it for commonly for all the images over here. The next one is how to use the alt attribute. So if at all I'm using this one, img slash, they are like image 7, image 8. What I'll do is I'll write something .jpg. We know that this file is not there, and if this photo is not displayed onto the screen, I'll say that a random photo, random picture. Let's save it and let's see that. See, if the image is not loaded or the image is not found, then you get this one beside this. This image states that the image has not been loaded or the image cannot be found, and you get the text beside it. That's amazing, right? This is the amazing functionality of the alt functionality. And we are saying that we want the borders using CSS. So we will be introducing a new topic, CSS topic, the border. The syntax is like this: border, 10 pixels, solid, black. So there are different types of borders. The one which we have a straight line, or the one if we have dash borders, or if it's like equals to symbol borders. They have different types of borders, but what is the width of the border that you need is the first one. 10 pixels, 20 pixels, 30 pixels, 1 pixel, whatever it is. That's the width of the border. The second one is it should be the straight line or dashed line or double line, whatever it is. That's the second code. And the third thing is which color border you want. It's a black color, white color, blue color, whatever it is. So the thing is, I want to add image border using CSS. So what I'm saying is that for all the image tags, I will say I want all the image to have 10 pixel border. I want it as solid, and I want it black in color. Let's save it. Let's look at, and you can see you got a proper border with a 10 pixel width, and this is the picture has not been displayed over there, so you get like this. So if my border length is like 50 pixels, see, the border has been increased, right? So it's like that, just simple as it is. The third thing is how to display the image from internet. So for example, if I open this one, sample wallpaper for laptop, let's take this example, and if this image is good, if you want to display this image, right click the image and say copy image address. You get the link of the image and you type in img, and in src put the image address, Ctrl S, and you see you get the image. Good, right? It's good to see. And let's give a margin for all the images. Margin 20 pixels. So it's like I can differentiate between one picture to another picture. I don't want these borders to be overlapped. So this is how it is. If you want to display the image from the internet, right click on the image, copy the image location, and then paste it over there in the src. So with this, you now understand how to display a normal image, how to add a width and height to the image, how to add the alt attribute, which is nothing but if the image is not displayed onto the screen, what text should be displayed. And the next thing is how to display the image from web. So with this being said, do you have any queries so far? Okay, let's go with the remaining topics tomorrow. Let's stop the topics for today, and if you have any queries, what I'll do is I'll be online for 5 more minutes, And if you have any queries, then please do let me know, and we will continue the next topics from tomorrow, where in next topics we'll look about what ID is. It's an important thing that you need to know whenever you're trying to start a CSS. And after ID tag, we'll go with the tables and how to display the tables onto the screen. So thanks for watching today's videos, guys. I hope you understood a lot of concepts today as well. So from the next class itself, we'll try to develop another website. We'll try to develop the whole website. So if you have any doubts, then please do ask me, and or send a comment, type the comments. If you like the video, then please give a thumbs up, and if there is any other developers out there who would like to learn, the full stack developers who are interested in this to pursue this career, then pass on this channel to them as well, so that even they get to learn a lot from this. Thanks for watching today's video, guys. I hope you had a wonderful time. So yes, regarding the portfolio, yes, we can do. Are you speaking about the image portfolio, like the gallery? If you want to do something like that, then what we do is, in the application that we are website that we are going to develop in next class, we will try to display a hotel website, I guess, a food website, where we'll be displaying different images. And if you want to add styles and effects for those images, you can add once we complete the CSS concepts, where we'll add animations. We'll get to know a lot of things, we'll discover things, zoom effect, all those effects that we see on the screen on the normal websites. We get to add those things once we start the CSS. But for now, what we do is we just display normal images with the proper backgrounds or borders or dropping the shadows. These are the basic things that we'll do for next class. And if you want to add any additional styles, then you're free to follow another website. Just for time being, as I didn't cover the CSS concepts, I will not be explaining all those things. It will be a problem for other people if I try to explain all the advanced concepts right away. So I hope you guys understand the reason why I'm not explaining it. So thanks for watching today's videos, guys. Have a nice day. Keep practicing what I taught today, and if you have any doubts, then please send us a message on our Instagram page, or you can also type in the comments and I'll reply to that in the next class.